Welcome to Newswatch. This week, arguments over independence for Scotland have been raging, with debates about the legality, timing and wording of the proposed referendum about this question. So did BBC News reflect the range of views on the subject? No, according to J.M. Cole, who wrote, "The BBC has a duty to address this independence issue much more intensely, with some balanced debate from ordinary people up and down the country. One way in which public debate can be reflected is through the capacity to comment on the blogs written by BBC editors such as Nick Robinson and Robert Peston. But those posted by BBC Scotland's political and business editors, Brian Taylor and Douglas Fraser, have not for the past couple of months allowed comments, leading Derek Macmillan to ask, is the BBC taking a political stance in the forthcoming referendum debate? If not, why is it only the Scottish political blogs that the BBC refuses people to comment upon? We asked News Online in Scotland if someone could come onto the programme to answer that question. They declined and gave us a statement saying, BBC Scotland has decided to disable the capacity for public comments to be regularly appended to both the Brian Taylor and Douglas Fraser online correspondent pages. The pages will, however, occasionally be open for comment. We believe that by determining which particular issues might best be explored by the inclusion of public comment online, we will allow a more flexible and a more adaptable approach to be taken to how we cover the main news issues in Scotland." To discuss this, I'm joined from Dundee by another viewer who contacted us about this, John Thompson. John Thompson, why are you concerned by the fact that you can't comment on blogs in Scotland?
Well, it's a very draconian, anti-democratic, and it can even be perceived to be an anti-Scottish measure. At this important time, you know, the most important time in 300 years, we're having an active debate, not only here in Scotland, but throughout the UK. And it's important that the general public is able to go on and comment on the stories that are coming out from BBC Scotland.
Have you ever had any explanation from BBC Scotland as to why they've done this?
Well, the explanation is pretty similar to the response that you read out earlier on, which doesn't really make sense. In the 3 months or so that since BBC Scotland implemented this change, there's been very few stories, probably just a few at most, where the comments have been opened up for people to actually go in and give feedback. The BBC should be an impartial news reporting organisation that's reporting the facts, and if they get it wrong, we the general public should be able to go in and say why they're getting it wrong, put our viewpoints across and add to the whole debate. Now, Daniel Maxwell, the news editor of BBC Scotland, points out to us that they have enabled comment on the main story about the independence referendum, and more than 1,600 comments have been filed. But is that the same, the main story, as commenting on the blogs? Until 3 months ago, we could comment on everything that went up. And now we're being restricted to what Daniel and his team seems to decide is relevant to be commented upon by the people of Scotland and the wider UK, almost like censorship. We seem to be in strange times when the people of Scotland and the wider UK cannot come to Scottish web content and comment upon it, yet we can freely go on to Nick Robinson's blog from Westminster and comment freely on any story we like. It just adds to the whole Westminster ruling Scotland perception, and that's not what we want. We want a free, open and honest debate, no matter which side you're on. Now, BBC Scotland also says that they are working towards an always live service when people will be able to comment live on all BBC output. Presumably that's something you look forward to. I look forward to it, but it won't do us any good if it comes after the referendum vote, will it? John Thompson, thank you very much indeed. Thank you as well.